I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, dang. Just a few weeks away from Extreme Rules, the horror show? Monday Night Raw comes to you live once again from the Performance Center. And what a show it is. We got matches. Bobby Lashley looks super angry, and an mixed tag team match makes a main event. Hello, everyone. My name is Flobo Boys, and I'll be piloting this ship for the next hour, but I can't do this alone. I'm being joined by the voice of the AEW Dynamite After Show and AEW, the voice of Jack of Global Wrestling with your questions on Thursday. He may not have any diamonds, but he holds on to his emerald. Give it up for the Hall of Farmer, Jack Farmer.
No one will ever know just how smooth that intro was. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Always good to be here.
Yeah, man. How's it going? I know we had a long extended weekend, and we had the cinematic episode on our show, but now we're back here on Monday, back at our jobs.
Well, we call it the long extended weekend. We did the cinematic show because it was not a long extended weekend. We were busy. I was working. Yeah, I should be asking you, how was your birthday? How'd it go?
I ate so much junk food. I'm talking about burgers and cakes and all kinds of things. I had this like foot-long garlic bread. I tore into it today. I didn't care what diet,
Yeah, diet starts tomorroar. That's what I always say.
Tomorrow or next Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's Monday Night Raw, man. Summertime. People say it's the doldrums, but I like to call it SummerSlam season. Just give me an overall pulse of the show. Is it trending up? Is it trending down? Is it kind of flat? What are you thinking?
You know what? I saw some mixed reactions on Twitter, but I am here to say this was one of the best Raws we have had in months and months. It delivered everything. Flobo, I ask you, looking right into your camera-like eyes, Flobo, I ask you, what was this episode missing?
There was
nothing. The answer is nothing. It had everything. It had everything you could want. It had Bailey on commentary. It had Joe breaking up fights in the ring. It had Bobby Lashley throwing Ricochet around. It had everything. This was a great episode. Hands down, start to finish, must-see TV. Welcome to Monday Night Raw, WWE.
Emphatic. Shout out to our chat right now. Mons, Dylan, Josh Alonso in the chat. Dina Wire, Dang MQ, the OG, Joseph Boza, Angie Harris. You guys make this show fun, and they're shouting out garlic bread in the chat. So we know good things when we see
garlic bread.
But you know what, Jack? I gotta be honest with you, man. The way the show started, I was kind of thrown off. Like it was like in the middle of something, and we got one of the more awkward intros. At least I thought, having two contract signings at once. I understand there's this whole need now to be unpredictable, especially in the post Paul Heyman era. But I thought it was a little bit of a mess. You disagree?
I disagree. This is exactly what Monday Night Raw is all about. Remember the old days? We always talk about the Attitude Era where you didn't know what was going to happen and things were just getting thrown at you nonstop. That's what this was. You didn't have a chance to hear the da-na-na, da-na-na, No, you were
legendary.
No, you were just like, bam, there's fisticuffs and fighting and people getting thrown around, and Samoa Joe trying to keep order, of all people. Samoa Joe trying to keep order while they doubled down on these contract signings, and it was a whole mess in all the best ways. This is what pro wrestling intros are all about, is the craziness and unpredictability and wondering what's going to happen, and a bunch of referees trying to break up fights between people. This is what we dream of as wrestling fans to start a show. I don't know how you cannot like it.
Joe didn't want to be there. It was like when your boss says, hey, need you come in a couple hours on Saturday? Is that cool? He's like, all right, contract signing. But the question I'm asking more and more frequently now, Jack, do we need a Raw general manager if this is the way we're going to go? Or we find a way as it is right now?
When was the last time Joe looked like he wanted to be anywhere? He hates everything. He's Samoa Joe. He wants to choke out every person he's ever met in his life. Like
Disneyland is just like fuming, like,
right. Like, you're next in line, sir. And he's like choking him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's your elephant ear.
He's from SoCal. I could probably see it happening. No, but what I'm saying, do we need a GM here on Raw?
I think I like GMs. I've always thought they were great. The only problem is when GMs become overused and they just start taking over the show, and you see them constantly in every single segment. I think when they're used, I've said before, I think William Regal is the perfect template for how a general manager should be used. You see him rarely, but when he comes out, it's to make some kind of match that's big that the wrestlers would never agree to on their own. That's where a general manager is great. I think, now that I think about it, I didn't think about it till you asked this question. I'm shooting from the hip right now, Flobo. I'm making this up as I go. I'd kind of like to see Samoa Joe be the general manager because he would
commentary?
And on commentary and in the ring. I love Samoa Joe. He should be everywhere.
That's the MVP spots. Put him everywhere you want to.
Listen, no, but honestly, he probably shouldn't be the general manager. I just think it's great to see him doing whatever he can, anywhere he can. But I think it is good to have someone who can decide yes or no, this is going to happen or this isn't going to happen, or you can kind of build those will the match take place or not, even if it's just a phantom booking committee or something. Otherwise, it's so weird. Like, who printed the contracts? Who wrote this up? Who? No, I mean, I know as wrestling fans, we're not supposed to ask these questions, but it does. It's fine to have someone, like I said, William Regal. I'd even be fine if they said William Regal is the general manager across all three brands, and he just popped in via video every now and again and was like, War games.
Damn, I'm sorry. I didn't take your book. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take your bet. I apologize. No, but yeah, I think you're right. I think having someone that's not always there, but don't take him off, is going to be there, is a lot better, which I think is what they wanted to do with the anonymous Raw GM back in the day, but it took this left turn because that sound was so annoying and having Michael Cole read it every week. But before we move on to our next topic, I want to say thank you so much for checking out this show, the Monday Night Raw After Show, exclusively part of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling and Sports. Now, we have the top tier wrestling coverage. We're talking Raw, NXT, AEW, Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly, SmackDown. All that stuff is right here under one roof. So do me a favor. If you're on the show right now, listening, hit me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This channel specifically, because AfterBuzz has a lot of channels on their networks. And if you're like me, if you're on the whole iTunes, you're on the Spotify, the Spreaker, the Google Play, Google Podcasts, hey, 5 stars, baby. And let us know a comment. Let me know how you think. And if you're in the chat, you're just like, oh my gosh, that Jack Farmer is hype. We have the super chat function right there. You can support the show. Deep down the bottom of all of our hearts here in the network, thank you for making us ESPN of TV Talk. You know who has a lot of heart, Jack?
Who has heart?
Selena Vega, because she is so passionate about her boys. Andrade, Angel Garza, 2 matches or 2 appearances tonight, somehow getting Big Show involved. We'll get to that in a second. But let's talk about that group. Zelina Vega, Andrade, and Angel Garza beating the Viking Raiders first. What? The former number 1 contenders to the Raw Tag Team Champions? What?
It makes sense. I mean, what else are you doing with them? They became silly. So I didn't expect them to come out with a win today, but this group, Zelina Vega's group, it reminds me of watching my cat play with a string and the string gets pulled away and the cat tries to get it. And then it gets a little bit closer and the cat tries to get it. And what I mean is I find myself saying, this group is falling apart. It's not going to last, whatever. And then they get back together and you're like, oh no, it's actually a great group. I want to see them succeed. And then they start fighting. You're like, nah, they're not going to work. And they keep like teasing you. Like, are they going to be great? Are they not? Are they got? And I'm excited about
pull the trigger.
I'm excited about it though, because that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with wrestling. I'm supposed to wonder what happens. Sometimes us wrestling fans, we're like, how come I can't figure out what's happening next? I'm so crabby about that. And then when you can't figure it out, you're like, this is so predictable. I'm crabby.
That's true.
But it's great. Like I don't know what they got next. And Zelina Vega, we can say it. We've said it almost every week. She is such a star. I think this year has created so many absolute superstars in how they've handled all the situations they've been thrown at them. And Zelina Vega, we could probably split hairs on who the biggest new star is through all this, but Zelina Vega's gotta be one of the top 1 or 2 or 3 people that have really shown out during these no crowd events. And I like this team. I like Zelina. I like the team. I like what they're doing. I'm glad they beat the Viking Raiders because, frankly, I don't know what the Viking Raiders would have done next. I think the best thing for Viking Raiders to do is to help solidify a few tag teams on Raw and then move over to SmackDown and hopefully start fresh.
So that's the thing, because during the springtime, which again feels like a whole year ago, but it was just a couple weeks ago, the group of Andrade and Angel Garza, the win-loss record wasn't great. And you had the Viking Raiders that were once an intimidating, beastly force. They carpool karaoke once. They went back to being Vikings, and then they had a series of games with the Street Profits who weren't even on the show tonight. So I don't know which one's better. But they lose pretty handily, pretty decisively by a team that's been struggling. It's dysfunctional, as we see later on the show. Is it done for them? Like, if you were in the booth, would you trade them? Is there any way you can salvage them on Raw, or is that ship sailed? Is it just gone? Is it like, bah?
Yes and no. You could salvage them if you had a deep enough roster of tag teams on Raw to help reestablish them as dominant. But there's just not enough opportunity for them and not enough teams for them to go through to build that dominance again. The only real team that they have that I can think of is Ricochet and Cedric, and maybe Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink.
They've been on TV like in 4 weeks.
Right. So wins over them isn't going to really do much at this point. So who are they going to look dominant against? They can't just now suddenly look dominant against the Street Profits. They've just been silly with them. And if they beat this team and were made to look dominant against Andrade and Garza, we would say, yeah, but those two never win anyways. So at this point, it just makes sense. Use this opportunity to build Zelina's group, and then, like I said, send the Viking Raiders over to SmackDown and hopefully reestablish them as the dominant team that they should be, because they're a great team. I just think we've seen too many bad things over the past few weeks.
Longtime contributor Dylan Matthews in chat says Selena Vega versus Charley Caruso, the best thing on Raw today. And it was kind of interesting, that kind of back and forth, that banter. Somehow Angel Garza is in the middle, hanging out like a creeper. Thoughts about that? Backstage interviewers being part of the storyline. Is that a good thing? A net positive, net negative?
I think it's good. You have talent, and it's a time when we need more talent because there's clearly issues with getting people into the arena to do this
more
stuff.
Talent, you say? Well, just give me a call. What's up?
Yeah. Well, you should be on the show. I think it'd be fun to watch you palling around with everyone backstage, taking Charlie's mic and saying, "I'm doing this interview now, Charlie." I think it's great. I give them more character. These people who are doing the interviews, it's not like that's all they can do. You don't get there reading a cue card and just saying thoughts. Like, they're talented people. Let them show what they can do, especially Charley. Something about her, she's a star. She seems like a bigger star than what she's been. And that's why when Garza hit on her for the first time, it was kind of like, ooh, what are you doing? Ooh, look at you going for Charley. Yeah, it was great. And so I think it's good to have her involved. She's there. She's a star. Use her. Why not?
Well, the one thing too about the whole Garza Andrade thing, we saw later on tonight, Big Show shows up, which is kind of an odd thing because usually when someone his status does show up, he's usually advertised as a legend. But Big Show has some business with Randy Orton, who I guess he didn't really get to. Side quest though, 1-on-2 handicap match against the same team that won the hour previous. Big Show becomes victorious. Was it all for naught, Jack Farmer? Was it all for naught for Zelina's team?
This is where, again, we as fans, we get what we want, and sometimes people just can't be happy, right?
I'm never happy.
So look, when they started teasing Big Show versus Randy Orton, there was this like, well, who's Big Show? What has he done? Who cares? Well, I don't care about this match. You got to make Big Show look like a threat again. And so having him beat a team in a handicap match is a great way to do that. And you protect that team at the same time because this is their second match that night. And there's dysfunction that you build on that storyline. This was such a well-placed, layered match.
I am an entitled wrestling fan. I saw a team compete. I want a fresh team against the Big Show. Why are these guys going to wrestle twice in one night?
Because they have a story to tell. They have a story that is now being told that they're not friends. Andrade left his buddy hanging out there so that he took a choke slam, and now that story is building even more, while at the same time the Big Show is more credible again as he goes into his match with Randy Orton. Now, look, I'm not saying it's going to be the second greatest match of all time when he has a match with Randy Orton.
It's the greatest show.
But legends rise. So it's a good move. It's a smart move. I don't think, do we really think Garza looks worse because he lost? Does Andrade look worse because he lost? No, not at all. Does Big Show look better Yeah, because he just beat two guys who are incredibly credible, and it was a fun match. By the way, between us, I think it would be really fun to wrestle the Big Show. I mean, it would hurt. I would not
Yeah,
enjoy
let's
that
clip
part.
this out and tag him in it on Twitter,
But
guys. Make sure he responds. It'd be fun. What?
it would just be fun. He seems like he's fun. Like it seems like all of his matches are fun. Him doing the I'm bigger. He clearly knows how to be a giant, and he does it so well and in such a fun way. I love Big Show. And I said on Twitter, by the way, he still owns the most scary voice in wrestling when he gets that deep voice that he does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Randy, get out here.
You think it'd be fun to wrestle a guy whose finishing move is a punch to the jaw? Okay. More power to you, Jack.
Listen. I am much braver behind this microphone than I am in person, so I can say that now. But if I ever cross paths with the Big Show, I will not hesitate to cower and change my mind.
And we've already established if I'm ever in trouble, you wouldn't come help me. So
not at all. Nope, not against Randy Orton, not against the Big Show, not against Hornswoggle, not against anybody.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Right. You know, Jack, this coffee I have is kind of lame. I can't stand it. Do you know of any good coffee brands around these days?
You know, I've noticed you were drinking from that mug the whole time, and I noticed that I have a little bit more energy right now. No offense, but
yeah, I could tell.
It comes from, if I can tell you my secret, I've been drinking coffee from Broasters Coffee. They have this new specialty brew called Russo Bro. It's based after the wrestling writer himself, Vince Russo. But
the most controversial figure in wrestling of all time?
Exactly. The same Vince Russo. And so we chatted with him on Quarantine with the Stars, and he got me thinking about this coffee that he's such a big fan of that they put his face on. I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go get some of my own. And I tried it, and man, my days have been so full of energy. It's delicious. It's way better than those bigger companies because what they do is they have single roasts. They don't have specialty blends. All their stuff is roasted every week, so it's not this mass manufactured garbage you get from the grocery store, but it's really, really good. And I really recommend everyone go to www.thebroasters.com. They also have some cool swag. I got this t-shirt as well. It not only fits really well, but it's great. It's like a good around the house shirt or a good working out shirt. I love it, but don't take my word for it. Go do yourself a favor. Go to www.thebroasters.com and buy a bag of coffee today. I say go big or bro home. It's my favorite catchphrase to say, but check it out yourself. Like I said, they are a sponsor of the show, and it's a good coffee. If you're a coffee people, try it out. They have different brands and different flavors as well. So if you're like a dark roast or a light roast, they have all that good stuff. Personally, I got a bunch of different flavors, but I've been liking Russo Bro so much I haven't had a chance to try the other ones. I've just been digging into that.
You lost me at the puns. I can't stand it, bro home, this guy. But because someone who's not losing, one half of the Iconics, Peyton Royce comes out of nowhere challenging Ruby Riott, which, sidebar, I'm thinking just perhaps she may be turning face, which I'm totally here for. But she had a match with Peyton Royce because Peyton Royce is a bully. Totally destroyed Ruby with this like twisting brain buster out of nowhere. Is this the resurgence of the Iconics, the Stallions, the stalwarts, the starlets from Australia, Jack Farmer?
Yeah, this was another time I wasn't very happy with the folks on Twitter. You see, Flobo, I was watching this, and I was like, one, Ruby Riott, I want to cheer for her. I think it was such a good idea to position her this way because I think she's someone she's clearly lovable. When she was talking, I haven't seen her like this in so long. I was right there with her when she was making fun of the Iconics and all that stuff. I was like, this is great. But then when the match happens and the Iconics win, everyone on Twitter is like, oh, Ruby Riott's supposed to be likable now, but she lost. And I'm like, everyone has been saying for months they want the Iconics back. They want them winning matches. The WWE says, you know what? We should listen to what the fans on Twitter say. Let's give them the Iconics. Let's have them win a match. I was glad to see this happen the way it did. I'm also excited to see Ruby Riott go backstage and be like, Liv, you know what? I haven't been super successful since I've not been teaming up with you, and have Liv go, you know what? I haven't been that successful since I've not been teaming with you, Ruby. And they go to, you know what? Maybe we should team together and take on both the Iconics, because as a unit, we are stronger. And now you have a great tag team in the women's division added back, and everyone's happy. It was, again, a great segment, great match. It is exactly what we wanted. The WWE was like, we listened to you guys. We're doing what you want. Here you go.
What is in your coffee? That's what I want to know. Because let's look. I'll agree with you, Jack. For me, it was actually one of my favorite segments of the night. You know me. I'm the story guy. I'm the guy out buys merchandise. Hugging is my business, and business is good. Thanks, baby.
Now who's the sellout?
Oh, totally. I'll sell out quick, man, but not nearly as elegant as you, good sir. Not nearly as elegant as you. But the Iconics, you're right. We were asking about them. Are they coming back? They came back, and they did some teasing with Ruby Riott. Now, a couple weeks ago on Better Together with Maria Menounos, the show that Charlotte Flair was on, which
with you that you chatted with, yeah.
I totally chatted with Charlotte Flair. Check it out if you haven't already. Charlotte was saying that Ruby Riott, formerly known as Heidi Lovelace, is way better a natural face. And I think we're finally seeing it now. Peyton Royce, the Iconics usually get written off as being a comedy act, showed when they returned their vicious streak. And today, this is a new finisher. This is Peyton Royce's new finisher. This is a whole new Iconics team. I'm according to Dylan, I'm a hater of the Iconics. I am not a hater of the Iconics, but I will say this: once you are a comedy gimmick, but then you have these like vicious moves, I call the Montez Ford directive, then you become 120% more credible. Because Montez Ford can like do that cup and wear a crown all he wants, but he hits hard and he flies to the sky. You can't deny talent. I love this. I am not sure what's going to happen, but the side question for you, Jack, is that before the match, Ruby Riott got hit up by Lana, and she was saying that I'm rolling with Natty because she has the highest wins of all time. Is it an issue with Lana, almost like MVP, saying if you can't beat them, join them, and becoming one of the hottest managers in her division?
We have the resurgence of managers in wrestling right now, and I love it. I feel like for 25 years we've been like, why don't we have more managers? Why don't we use managers more? Now we have them, and they're all so good. Flobo, I know that you haven't been the world's biggest Lana fan over the past few years.
I'm the worst. I'm not a fan at all. What are you talking about?
It's fine. You're maybe her third or fourth biggest fan.
No, it's terrible.
You're the treasurer of her fan club, not the president, but you're the treasurer.
These are all lying allegations.
But the way she built up Natty was great. Like, that's a great point. She has more wins than all of these legends right now. That made me think, yeah, Natty is really good. Natty should be winning. Lana did a great job of promoting her client. This is a great thing.
Oh, Jack, again, I gotta cut you off here, dude. Is it like basically managing Brett Favre when he's in the Vikings? Though, yes, he has the most wins of all time, but he has the most sacks, the most defeats. Like, he's been around for so long. How is this a pickup? How is this a acquisition?
Brett Favre is still Brett Favre, man. Like, right now, Tampa Bay has Tom Brady, and they are set to win. People care about them right now. People want to watch Tampa Bay play. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? In 2020, people want to watch Tampa Bay play. Why? Because they got Tom Brady.
To be fair, there's a global pandemic, and we'll take anything we want right now. It still happens to be.
By the way, we need to wrap this up so I can get to my cornhole tournament that I'm not.
ESPN the Ocho.
But listen, I mean, right. This is, again, it makes Natty interesting. She's not just generic veteran wrestler who comes out and loses. She's now has something going on. She now has interest to her. And now it seems like they're also picking a little bit of a fight with Ruby Riott. And I've said before, Natty is the queen maker. If you have a rivalry with her and beat her, you are now set to start moving forward. She's like the U.S. champion of women wrestlers in the WWE. Beating her means something. And this could be that step that brings Ruby Riott back to the top of the women's division and going through that rivalry. And if it was just Natty going, hi, I'm Natty, I guess we're going to have a feud, no one would care. But if Lana does it, now it's interesting. Now I'm invested. Now I want to see Ruby Riott shut Lana up. And that's exactly what a good manager is supposed to do. She nailed it. This is again, this is an A+ show, top to bottom.
Maybe. But I ask you this, though. If we're going to have a lot more managers for women wrestlers now, Robert Stonebrand and Lana, question. And you can take it in any order you want. Does Dana Brooke or Shayna Baszler need or be enhanced by a manager?
Dana Brooke, I think, could use a manager. I think she would definitely benefit from one. I don't think Shayna Baszler needs one at all. I think Shayna Baszler just needs to start racking up some wins. I think Shayna Baszler is someone that needs to be fed some wins. I don't think she's someone that can have 50-50 booking and still be as credible as she was on NXT. But I don't think she needs a manager. I think Shayna Baszler's fine on the mic. She's not like The Rock. She's not like, electric on the microphone. But
I'm with you. But the whole opera non-verbal stuff just sounds pre-written.
I think whenever she's not great, but she's believable. I think that's the thing. She sounds like when she says she's gonna tap you out, you're like, oh my god, she's gonna tap me out.
Yeah,
I think that's
she's gonna bite the back of your neck. I totally believe she'll bite the back of your neck.
Like, I'm gonna bite the back of your neck. I'm like, ugh. Okay.
Oh no! Why? Why?
Why couldn't I fight the Big Show?
Yes, I'd rather fight the Big Show. No, real talk. I rather.
Me too. Because he would punch you and you'd be over. Where Shayna's gonna make me tap out and make me look silly.
Yeah, I'm in the cast. Like, what happened? The submission magician. Sorry,
She put me in an arm bar. When I tried to tap, she broke my other arm, and I couldn't do it. I was trying to tap like this. I was swinging my arm around.
That's gross.
I'm trying.
That's terrible. That's moving on, dude. That's gross. Let's talk about the new 24/7 champion for the 37th time. R-Truth pinning Akira Tozawa and evading a ninja. This has actually happened tonight on Monday Night Raw. Look, I like ninjas as much as the next guy. I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. Raphael's my favorite. Obito fact. But one, it is kind of cringe having Akira Tozawa being the leader of ninjas. And two, we talked about this time last year about whether or not the 24/7 championship would ever be credible. I'm starting to worry it won't never be. Jack?
You're starting to worry.
I am starting to worry. When Mojo Rawley had an offensive lineman, I said maybe it may be lame, but maybe because Mojo was shining his belt and saying, you know what, no one's getting this. But then it went, and I love R-Truth. R-Truth is a national, international treasure. But yeah, it looks like ninjas will be the number one contender for that title.
I love that you brought up the Ninja Turtles. I think it was great because I love Ninja Turtles too. I was always a nerd, so I liked Donatello. I was the only one. No one else liked him. But
he's the best one in the game, though. In the video game, the staff was so long.
That's why I liked him because that's why. But it's one of those things where us wrestling fans, sometimes we just need to embrace and understand what we're watching. We've been saying for 20 years, WWE is geared towards kids. Kids are probably eating up R-Truth facing ninjas for his title. They probably love it. This is perfect for kids. They are probably enjoying this. Also, it's a fun little break from the seriousness of so much other stuff on the show. You need these kind of things. And if you don't like it, it's a great bathroom break. Is it going to main event WrestleMania? I don't know.
It should be done.
I say I don't know. I'm not going to predict that kind of stuff ever again.
Okay, but Jack, we're grown men. You know what I mean? I had a birthday. I'm officially old now. But let's say someone pulled Akira Tozawa's side and said, "Look, you're going to be the same character you are, but you're going to wear black trunks, and then you're probably going to, I don't know, have some sort of submission or stealthy movesets." That is way different than him being surrounded by actual ninjas like a kung fu flick. Because there's so few Asian wrestlers that are featured on all three brands, is it considered a little bit insensitive?
I mean, I could see that. I think you have to ask Akira that to know if he's
Akira, let me ask you a question.
But I mean, again, is it really any different than asking two guys to dress up as Vikings or asking Hornswoggle to dress up as a leprechaun or having, Fit Finley wear a giant clover leaf on his chest or having Roddy Piper walk out with a kilt on. I mean, is it really any different than what we've seen for the past 40 years?
You raise a good point. Wrestling is a visual art form, and it's pretty much most gimmicks and characters are just designed so you can see it from the back row, right? My dad's favorite wrestler of all time, the reason why I'm a wrestling fan, I don't know if I said this before, but it was Chief Jay Strongbow. When my dad came to this country in the 70s, you watched wrestling because at the Garden, it was one of the few times where he felt like a true American. No one cared what he looked like or what his accent was. As long as you were there for the match, you were one of them. And even though Chief Jay Strongbow was an Italian person, and they made him Native American for his character just because San Martino was Italian, my dad didn't care. So I get that. I totally get that. To me, ninjas are a little bit on the nose. That's just my hot take. I'm just saying, man.
I get you. I mean, that's why I say you have to ask him. I mean, I think it kind of goes back to what we talked about with Vince Russo, though. You and I, when we had that great conversation, it's still available on AfterBuzzTV.com. It's Quarantine with the Stars, and where we chatted about Broasters at www.thebroasters.com. It's if he's uncomfortable with it, something Vince said, if you're uncomfortable with something, it's up to the wrestler to say something and to do something. Sure. So I think if he feels like it's something that's offensive, it's up to him to say something. Now, I know some people could say, hey, but this is the only chance he has to get on TV. He needs to do this. Vince is boss. Well, that's something he has to judge, and that's something he has to balance, I think. And make that decision on if it's worth it. You and I, we do live events as well as host shows like this. And during this time, we've had to make that decision. Am I going to put on a mask and work a public event during this COVID and Corona period? I mean, I've done it twice. Was it the safest thing? I don't know, but that's part of the decision-making process of performing and being in this kind of world. You have to make those decisions. And if he feels uncomfortable with it, I would hope he would say something. But if he doesn't, if he's like, hey, man, I'm just a performer, I'm having a good time, I'm wrestling, this is what I want to do, then cool.
For the record, I'm totally fine with being a ninja, but I would never portray a Yankee fan on TV. That's my other line. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Let's talk about somebody who has his own following, Seth Rollins, or they're saying on the Public Enemies podcast, Seth Rollins. The Monday Night Messiah, rolling with Murphy, is asking Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black, which is a very valid question. Why? Why are you defending the legacy of Rey Mysterio, despite the fact that he's one of the greatest luchadors of all time, despite the fact he killed it on WCW and ECW, despite the fact that his eyes been gouged out by Seth Rollins? Why do you care about Rey Mysterio? What happened was pretty interesting with tag team match, Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. Again, I liked Carrillo today in this showing, but it really didn't go in his favor with the Monday Night Messiah getting the win. Now, I texted you during this match. I said, Jack, this feud seems like it was going on since 1978. Why is that? And what will it take for it to be finally over? But I understand I may be a little negative. So if you want to focus on the positive things about it, that's cool too. But this guy is kind of getting bored. Again,
we ask for stuff from the WWE. We say, WWE, please give us great wrestlers having great wrestling matches. And they said, you know what? You want guys who are great in the ring, you guys who have great chemistry together, guys who can go, and you want to give them time to go? How about this? We'll give you Seth Rollins. We'll give you Buddy Murphy. We'll give you Aleister Black, and we'll give you Humberto Carrillo in a tag team match. And they're going to go at it. And they do. And everyone's like, oh, this, blah. Like, come on. This was great. This is great wrestling. It's great. Aleister Black's on TV and people are complaining. You're out of your mind. Seth Rollins is amazing in this character. This is such a good character. This is, dare I say, my favorite Seth Rollins. He is so good right now. And these guys tore it up. It was a great match. What's wrong? What negative could happen? Here's what's wrong I have with it, Jack Farmer. I think the match is, on the pure mechanics of the art and science of wrestling, it was fine. But the feud is obviously Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. And this is not a Brock Lesnar feud. This is not Edge versus Orton. I don't think Rey Mysterio is that kind of talent. You can have him via satellite for 3 or 4 weeks. The match was great, but I want Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Is that too much to ask, man? Yeah, and you're gonna get it at Extreme Rules probably.
Oh, come on. I want it now for free on Monday night.
I want it for free on Monday night right now.
Right now.
Look, it's gonna be that's gonna be a great match, and I get it. We've seen these guys before, and I get it. I would have loved to have seen Aleister Black do his coming up from the ground thing with his skulls and his cool music and stuff like that. But guys, we're going to get there. This just isn't his exact second. Just like any movie you watch with The Rock in it. The Rock isn't in he doesn't take every piece of dialogue. Other people are in the movie. You got to step back for a second so the side characters can do stuff. If you watch Jumanji, Kevin Hart needs a chance to get in some jokes every now and again. This is just Aleister Black stepping back, holding off for a little bit so that the other guys can do their thing, so that when he comes in, and then becomes a focal point, it matters. This is storytelling. You can't just have everyone go at it all at once. It can't be like WrestleMania is done. That was the blow off of a year. Now let's get all the best stuff right now the next day. You got to build things. Things are building. Extreme Rules isn't the build you want to have for the biggest match. SummerSlam is. This is the segue into SummerSlam. And you got to just enjoy this ride. It's going to be great.
Records state that June 29, 2020, Jack Farmer compared professional wrestling to Jumanji the movie with Kevin Hart. And he was right. Are you kidding me? I don't believe this. I can't. But speaking of things that I can't believe happened, Apollo Crews had a match with MVP, and MVP came out on top with a little bit of interference with Bobby Lashley, because that's what heel's going to do. Heel's going to heel, but with the perfect plex. Can I say perfect plex or fisherman suplex? I don't know.
I always call it the Hennig plex because I was a WCW guy.
Okay, whatever. It's a perfect plex or fisherman suplex. I'm not WWE stuff. Thoughts about this? United States champion Apollo had a lot of fanfare and confetti a couple weeks ago, and now it looks like he's pretty beatable. Or am I just jumping the gun? Maybe I'm just shell-shocked of Apollo's career, and I'm just thinking way too catastrophic, way too soon.
He's the good guy, right? He has to look beatable. If he looked unbeatable, that's no fun. He's supposed to be the guy like, man, can he overcome this? It doesn't look like it. That's what being the underdog is. The Mighty Ducks take an L before they go to the championship. That's how it works.
Not the actual Ducks, they just suck. But yes, in the movie.
Well, they take plenty of L's before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to say this, and I don't mean to step on whatever transition you have next or where you're going. I said on Twitter, and I follow through on my social media promises, I think that today it's finally dawned on me. MVP was always great. MVP was always amazing. MVP was always someone I looked at as a backbone of what the WWE was for a long period of time. But today I realized he's not just great. He's not just amazing. He's a legend. He is an absolute 100% undeniable legend. And not just because of what he did, but I'm talking about because of what he is doing right now. He is doing every single thing you could potentially need to do in wrestling. I guarantee he'll probably be a referee at some point in the next few weeks. Wow. He is doing everything, but everything he does is completely selfless. Completely selfless. He doesn't make himself look amazing. He doesn't put himself over. He makes other people look good. I mean, he got a win today, but like for the most part, over the course of his time, he gets claymored in the face. He gets knocked around. He gets beat out. He always makes people look good, but he finds a way to keep his credibility throughout and continue to push other people and raise them to the next level. He's fantastic. He is a complete legend, and the way he's giving back to wrestling right now is amazing. And he's a legend to me. He's a Hall of Famer to me. He has earned every amount of respect I could ever give to someone who's a legend. MVP, good job, buddy.
Yeah, a bit of a debate going in the chat. Sanzu says MVP is not a legend, but Derek Fisher says MVP is. Now, if you guys are a
That's
fan
a
of
hard
AfterBuzz,
debate. That's
yeah, it's a hard debate, man. One or the other. If you guys are long-term AfterBuzz fans, there was a one-off special where your boy Fabito, said that MVP was the most iconic wrestling character of all time. What's interesting about MVP now is that he never changed. He was a high-pressured signing at the time. They brought the whole sports element before the reality era back in the mid-2000s, where we were looking for a bit of realism in our product that was counteracting the Attitude Era, and he excelled. When people say about the best U.S. champions in WWE, it's usually Cena or MVP. And because coming back, he has had his own talk show segment. He's worked as de facto GM and a manager. Bobby Lashley has never looked so credible in two distinct runs in his company and a run in TNA. Unless relying on himself with MVP, because he was real when he said, hey, look, you got all the tools, but what's wrong with you? It wasn't bend over and show the crowd your ass, a la Leo Rush. It was, you deserve better, you deserve more. So yeah, MVP is definitely legend status. I'm so glad the bandwagon is opening up, because it was pretty lonely for about 13 years, guys. It was pretty lonely until they came back.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. You have always been beating the drum for MVP. And something I want to add is, because you had mentioned Leo Rush. Look, no disrespect to Leo Rush. He was great. He's great on the mic. He was a great manager. We disagree on the whole Lana thing, but I thought that was great at getting attention to him. But the thing about MVP and why he is standing out and why he is working so well with Lashley right now is because, like I said about Shayna Baszler, he is 100% believable. Everything he's saying, I feel like I believe him. It doesn't feel like it's a script. It doesn't feel like it's written. It doesn't feel like it's for a show. Everything he's saying, even as he's talking to Apollo Crews, is like he's kind of making points. He's kind of making good points. Like, this is really believable. And even him in the match today, even like, I believe that he belonged in there. He looks like he belongs with Lashley. He looks like he belongs doing these things. He's completely credible and completely believable, all while making everyone else around him look better. He's amazing. And I've always liked him, but I should have liked him more than I already did.
Yeah, man. Dylan Matthews, one more time. Aussie.
Oi.
MVP is the MVP of the MVP. I'm the MVP of the MVP fan club. Hell yeah, I am. Why not?
I'm the treasurer of the MVP fan club.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this main event, man. Sasha Banks, the boss or the blueprint, or whatever you want to describe her as, one half of the women's tag team champions, teaming up with recent Raw acquisition Dolph Ziggler to take on the WWE champion, which is the only championship I recognize as being the title. I'm sorry, I love the blue strap, but it's cool. But and also against Asuka. Real quick, because we're running low on time. Thoughts about the match and what it means for those two teams with Sasha Banks getting the win.
I thought this was great. It was fun. I think the right team won, because I think Dolph Ziggler needs some big wins going into this match. Has anyone had more world title opportunities without doing a lot to really earn it than Dolph Ziggler?
It should have been me.
And real quick, I just want to say, like, I like Sasha Banks. She's great, but Sasha, you need to pump the brakes on how many nicknames you're going to give yourself. You should only have like one or two for a little period of time. She's
like, for The Rock. Yeah.
But look, this was a great match. I think Banks Asuka is going to be so good. They had such good chemistry in the ring, and that moment when Drew McIntyre just punched Ziggler off the ring after Banks interrupted him was amazing. I thought that was super fun. I loved it. It was a fun match, and it accomplished exactly what it needed to. I think it was a great way to end the night. It wrapped up and tied things up from the beginning.
Ref was a little out of position there at the end, but Bayley was on commentary. My girl, get him, Bayley. Holding all three belts all over, because she's just that dang good. I can't wait for Extreme Rules, a horror show, which is kind of like a weird name to call a pay-per-view. And I know Banks and Bayley, they're going to be in all three shows. Great American Bashes this week with Io Shirai and Sasha Banks. I know Bayley's going to be there. More Bayley is better for TV because she is the role model. But
yeah, I'm on the Bayley train too. I think she was great. I'm kind of over the whole like two belt monikers that everyone keeps giving themselves.
Doe straps.
Doe straps and Becky two belts and Bayley. Bayley's Doe straps, right? And
Doe straps, yeah. Becky two belts.
And then Sasha called herself something too.
Two straps.
Two straps.
Two belts. I don't know. Yeah.
I would be Jack. I am a double champion farmer. That would be how
I like the fact that like Bailey gets to call it straps, even though we know like an unwritten rule is never called a strap or a belt because it's not an accessory; it's a championship. So it's like, oh, Bailey, you're being that. You're so great. You're so great. But it's that time we have to get out of here, Jack. I mean, can you believe that hour went by pretty fast? I know I'm back here for Wednesday for NXT, and you're back Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. But between then, we're going to find you online and watch you sell out.
Yeah, in addition to the AEW Dynamite show every Wednesday at 8:15 Pacific Standard Time, I also do the Jack and Flobo Wrestling with Your Questions show every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, where I chat with you and we just kind of go off the rails. That's the whole show, is just going off the rails and talking about whatever. But also, you can find me drinking Broasters. That's www.thebroasters.com. Go order yourself a batch just to try it. Let them know that Jack Farmer sent you, just so they know that I sent you, because I like taking credit for things. But give them a try. Like I said, if you don't like the Russo Bro coffee, if you want to try something else, they've got all sorts of different flavors and all sorts of different stuff. As mentioned, I'm a shirt guy, so I got the shirt as well. It's really comfortable. You should try it out. And also check out smartbutton.com. Thebroasters.com, smartbutton.com. Hit them up.
I mean, so many brands. I mean, like Shaquille O'Neal. This guy does pizza, insurance, like soda, like icy hot. It's nuts. All right, so what?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Puns. Hate them. Right. You can follow me on social media at Flobo Boys on Twitter, at Flobito on Instagram, and Flobito.com. Jack's right every Thursday over there on YouTube. Jack and Flobo Wrestling with Your Questions. Oh, it's a mailbag. Jump on for that. Support the homie. Buy a t-shirt at Flobito, at threadless.com. And the Patreon is patreon.com/Flobo Boys. But until next time, wear a mask, dang it. And peace out. Buzz you later.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.